when you're buying horses, do you go for a particular bloodline, and do you pretty much stick to the same bloodlines?
Well, that's where it's easy for everybody to look at the bloodlines. They can see all this black type, which they call stakes winners and handicap. But I look for bodies, like you did on the beach the other day.
Right there. It's a threefold question. What's the best horse you've ever claimed that's gone on to do something? I think Bruce kind of said he doesn't really claim horses, but maybe one over the years. Do you have a horse in the Pacific Classic this year? And third part was, what's the greatest horse ever?
Well, I understood you to say which is the greatest horse I ever had. That was Kona Gold. You know, he set 2 track records. He set the Breeders' Cup record. He raced till he was 9 years old. He won his first stake race, at Santa Anita, after the Breeders' Cup, and then he won at 9 the same race.
What's the best horse you've ever claimed that's gone on to do something?
When I first started, I was claiming horses. A horse called Lucky Mel Jr. We won 5 seconds and 2 wins. But I haven't been claiming horses. I've been buying horses.
And how about the Pacific Classic? You got one this year?
Surf Cat's going to the Pacific Classic. You know, as a 3-year-old, he was beating 5 lengths in it, but he's seasoned now, and he was closing fast, so that's where he's going. Now, I might run a rabbit in there after this. You might see an entry in this race. And the best horse I ever saw, I would have to say that you could take your pick of 4. I saw Citation when he won his million. He was, Calumet was one of the strongest breeding farms. He was an unbelievable horse. And then along came Swaps, and Swaps broke 5 or 6 track records in 1 year, galloping. And then there was Native Dancer. If he hadn't lost the Kentucky Derby, he'd won 22 or 23 straight, I'm not sure. But he was a great one. And then Forgo, I mean, Spectacular Bid, Affirmed. I mean, they go on.
Anybody else over here? Right there.
What do you think about Derek being the T-shirt?
I don't think you better take that one. Bo Derek has just come onto the California Horse Racing Board. And the question to Bruce was, what do you think about Bo Derek being elected to the board?
Well, I think got more guys to go to more meetings.
We got one right there. How about the use of the whip? Is it absolutely necessary?
Well, the whip is absolutely necessary because the thoroughbred is a beast of burden. I mean, you have to get him into peak of what he and emotion to what he wants to do, but you have to carry that thread. And when the whip is a thing when I'm breaking horses, is that you use it flat so that the leather makes a pop. It's the pop of the whip, not the hurt of the whip, because it's either a cringe or a scare from a pop, because horses are more scared and listen for danger with their ears. So if you can use the whip, I'm always instructing them, be sure you look and see that your popper's flat, because when you pop or hit, the pop is the thing that makes them move. Now, of course, people don't know that. That's something else.
Funny, just adding on to that, right now at this current meet, they have introduced a new whip. You might see a couple of the jockeys. It's just experimenting right now. It's not a rule yet. And they're much more gentle whips. You know, the American whips are the most severe in the world. They really are very, very severe on the horses. But these new ones they've brought in now, if you look at the jocks, you'll see normally one in a race is carrying this new whip, and it's got a whole bunch of cloth over it. And exactly what Bruce says, it makes a louder noise. So if they hit them, you might think, wow, that whip's like crueler than the other whips, but they're not. It's a pop, and that's all the horses running from is scared. You don't need to hurt him to make him run. If you hurt him, he's just gonna duck away from the whip and probably shift. So you don't want to hurt him, but you can scare him, and that's what these whips are doing. They're full of cloth rather than that other substance that they use, which is severe on a horse. The cloth is not. You can take these new whips, put your hand out and hit it pretty hard, and it won't do anything to your hand. But if you take the American whip and you hit your hand pretty hard, you'll get a welt. It'll swell, and you'll get a welt on your hand.
I'd like to give him a demo with the hand.
So, yeah.
Okay. When the whip is like this or like this, so when you look at your whip so that you see that it's going to hit a horse flat, and if you're holding it wrong, it sounds like this. If you're holding it wrong, but if you're holding it right, it sounds like this.
There you go, from the professional himself. That's what you want. You know, you want the horse to be scared, not hurt. I think we have Joel Rosario right here. Come on up, Joel.
Hey, champion.
Jockey Joel Rosario. He's one of the top 2 riders in California right now, and
We're sharing.
he's certainly made a great impact. He came around just about a year ago, and as we all know, this is the toughest jockeys colony in the world to try to break into, and he's one of the very, 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 very few jockeys who's managed to do that. He had a great Hollywood Park meet. He's going to have a great Del Mar meet as well, and I'll let you into a secret. He's going to win 3 races today, all right? So you can go out there and win some. So it's, you know, you have to carry a whip. I think to sum up my attitude is not the use of the whip, it's the abuse of the whip. You know, you can give them a little backhander, you're not going to hurt them, and now with these new whips, they're not going to hurt half, not even a tenth as much as the old ones did. And it's not a rule yet, but let's hope they do pass it. So I would say we're moving in the right direction. And it's up to the California Horse Racing Board. Yes, they will do it. If you watch TVG and you watch the races from England, that's a perfect thing. They've had new whip rules now for about 10 years. England is really the nursery of horse racing, you know. Horse racing to England is like baseball to America. You know, they're the hometown of it. They're the ones who basically introduced it the way we know it. If they can do it, we can do it. And just watch any race from England on TV. Don't care who wins. Don't try to pick the winner. Just watch the jockeys. They sit there. They hardly ever cock their whip. They just sit and they hit them like this, and then they push 5, 6, 7, and then they'll do that again. And those horses are running just as fast as our horses are, you know. That's the way they should do it. And if it makes a loud noise, that's no problem. The loud noise is not going to bother them. The pain is going to bother them. Joel, what's your opinion of the whip? Do you use it a lot?
Yeah.
He's actually not too bad. I think he's just saying that. But as jockeys go, he's pretty lenient on them.
Yeah, I use the whip a lot, and I change it for the right, for the left, and the right, and I hate it for running more fast, you know.
And he's talking about switching sticks as well. Maybe Bruce can explain why they switch sticks, which is when you got your whip in your left hand, you put it in your right hand.
Yeah, well, he can talk.
Okay.
Well, that's like I told you on the young horses. When you into the stretch, when you switch to the left hand and the horse ducks out, then if it's a place you hit him. You don't hit him in the stomach. If you hit him high on the hindquarters, he reaches more with his right lead. Then in the stretch, he's reaching like that. Especially the left Shoemaker. I mean, he was natural left-handed, and too many left-handed jockeys. And when he came into the game hitting left-handed, they took off. Why? Is because that right side of the body was working then, and they were reaching with it. And so when he's communicating with the left lead, the body is doing its most work. But when jockeys hit with the right, sure, they're out there by 1 or 2. They can drive him in and winning. But he's like this, and they're getting hit like this. So the correct way to hit him on the right lead is the left. Although, if you have your stick in your right hand and you tap him on the shoulder when he's on the right lead, that makes his right forearm reach further. So he's right there, and so he's getting the full advantage of his right side with the left hand behind, and then the right-handed tip on the shoulder. That was another shoemaker deal.